Such cooperation is a powerful resource in the battle to eliminate new global forms of slavery, born of great injustices, which can be overcome only through new policies and new forms of social consensus.
One man. What about two? What about six? How about public executions, huh?
Feel free to leave whenever you like, Agent Hubbard.
Put soldiers on the street and have Americans looking over their shoulders, bend the law, shred the Constitution just a little bit. We do that, and everything that we have bled and fought and died for is over. And they've won. They've already won.
First of all, the integration of national economies into a global economy. That's here. That's done. And so the question is not whether or not there's going to be a international global economy. There is one.
So the question is not whether or not there's going to be a international global economy. There is one.
And we're building an inclusive society in which everybody's got a fair shot. That's how we're going to solve these problems. So we're going to keep on pushing hard to shape an international order that works for our people.
To shape an international order that works for our people.
It goes without saying that part of this great effort is the creation and distribution of wealth.
A new world economy and a new vision for the people of our planet.
Of an economy which seeks to be modern, inclusive, and sustainable.
Up until the 19th century, a monarch was the most popular type of government, with the papacy priding itself on the fact that it had power to depose of kings at will. In 1776, however, the United States of America declared independence from King George and England. Some had suggested the idea of crowning George Washington as the first king of the United States. However, this was not to be, and the United States instead was made a constitutional republic, which instead of being ruled by dictators was ruled by the people, with representatives in Congress working on behalf of the government, which was by the people and of the people and for the people. The very first words of the Constitution read, "We the people of the United States." It was not, "We the government rule the people." It was the other way around. We the people rule the government. In 1787, the Constitution was passed into law in the United States. In 1796, only 9 years later, French Republican troops, under the command of Napoleon Bonaparte, invaded Italy, defeated the papal troops, and occupied Ancona and Loreto. Pope Pius V sued for peace, which was granted at Tolentino on February 19, 1797, but on December 28th of that year, in a riot blamed by papal forces on some Italian and French revolutionists, the popular Brigadier General Mathurin Leonard Dufault, who had gone to Rome with Joseph Bonaparte as part of the French embassy, was killed and a new pretext was furnished for invasion. General Berthier marched to Rome entered it unopposed on February 10, 1798, proclaiming a Roman Republic, demanded of the Pope the renunciation of his temporal power. His reign of 1260 years of terror was over. The Pope was seen as a danger to society because of the violence that had occurred during the last 13 centuries. 1290 years earlier, the Pope had been given power by France at the defeat of the Visigoths in 508 AD. 12 years earlier, the King of France, King Clovis, had been baptized into the Roman Catholic Church. The Vandals, a second Aryan tribe, collapsed in the Vandalic War of 533 and 534, in which Justinian I managed to conquer the province of the Eastern Roman Empire. The year in which the Justinian Code was written, decreeing that all who did not teach the Trinitarian heresy of the Roman Catholic Church were to be considered demented and insane, and the decree also said that relentless violence was not only allowed to be used against any who did not accept this faith, but it was not only to be encouraged, but great rewards were given for those who upheld the church and state union throughout the empire. By 538 AD, a third Aryan tribe which refused to accept the Trinitarian view of the Roman Catholic Church, called the Ostrogoths, would be completely uprooted, and full power was given to the Roman Catholic Church during the next 1260 years until that power was taken by General Berthier of France in 1798 and the monarchy government was removed. No more kings. These dates were prophesied in the book of Daniel as well as the book of Revelation. Let's take a quick look at the book of Revelation. In the book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 3, we read of the great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. There are 7 crowns on this beast. In Revelation chapter 13 and verse 1, we see a beast rise up out of the sea having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns. Notice this one has 10 crowns on his head, while the beast in Revelation 12 had only 7 crowns, 3 more than the one in Revelation 12. But in Revelation 17 and verse 3, we read of the beast which the woman is sitting on, and notice carefully that it is a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And there's no mention of crowns here. There's no crowns on this beast, and we will get to why in 1 second. Another beast is also mentioned in Revelation 13 that I'd like us to look at. Let's go back to Revelation 13 and verse 11. And it says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." This beast had 2 horns, but again, no crowns. The crowns are symbols of a monarchy, a king. The government is not a monarchy on this beast. The government of this beast is called a constitutional republic. Crowns are symbols of the despotic, monarchical reign of kings. Despite many countries today being under the king in most places is only king in a ceremonial role and is limited to no political power in the sense of ruling countries. The red dragon in Revelation 12 is a symbol of the Roman Empire before 538, before the kingdom conquered the remains of Europe. The last 3 horns, the crowns being a symbol of that power. Revelation 12 verse 4 and 5 read, "And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, did cast them to the earth, and the dragon stood before the woman which is ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. She brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God and to his throne." We know who this is. In the book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 13, Joseph was warned in a dream to take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. The primary application of the dragon with 10 horns refers to Satan. We see this in Revelation 12:9. But being a beast representing a kingdom, a secondary application symbolized in this prophecy the kingdom of pagan Rome. Herod being the king who ruled over Judea, which at this time was under Roman rule. The symbol of the 7 crowns symbolizing the fact that until 538 AD, this kingdom did not yet conquer those 3 Aryan tribes which we mentioned earlier. In Revelation 13 verse 2, however, by 538 AD, this beast had now had 10 crowns, and the power was given to it. Let's read Revelation 13 verse 2. "The beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, his feet were as the feet of a bear, his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority." The dragon gave him his seat. symbolizing the divided Roman Empire gave its power to the papacy. And how long did this power last? In Revelation 13 and verse 5, it says, "There was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. 42 months biblically, a month was 30 days. This time period was also mentioned in Revelation 12 verse 6 and is called 1,260 days, or 60 days. 1,260 days. The Bible tells us in Ezekiel 4 verse 6 that in prophetic time, the Lord has appointed thee each day for a year. So therefore, the power that was given to this beast, the papacy, was to last 1,260 years of church and state power. Then the power, or the crowns, the 10 crowns, were to be removed. This was fulfilled to the very day, since the time from 538, when the third horn was uprooted, until the time of 1798, is exactly 1,260 years. And then the monarchy disposed, and the republic set up. Power was given him for exactly this time. We're told in Revelation 13 and verse 3 that this was called a deadly wound. Many of the priests had been killed during the French Revolution. At the time when the Pope was captured in 1798, we see another power and prophecy coming to prominence. That is the United States of America. In Revelation 13 and verse 10, we see the capture of the Pope, or the deadly wound. We read about it here. Verse 10, "He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity." And in the very next verse, as he goes into captivity, we read that John saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. The United States came to power right at the time that the power of the papacy was removed. This other beast had only 2 horns, but also, like the beast in Revelation, it had no crowns on the horns. This implies that this kingdom was different. The horns represent the church and state, and there are no papal tiaras or crowns on these horns. No King George Washington, because the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America read thus: "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof." The founders of the Constitution knew well the results of union of religion with politics, and knew well what having a king would be like, and thus, instead of "we the government" or kings, framed it, "we the people." James Madison, known as the father of the Constitution, the 4th president of the United States, put it thus: "The purpose of separation of church and state is to keep forever from these shores the ceaseless strife that has soaked the soil of Europe in blood for centuries." Maybe those in Congress today are unfamiliar with Bible prophecy, but they should definitely not be unfamiliar with the history of the country and the blood that was shed in order to flee the religious and political oppression that spilled the blood of over 50 million martyrs during the Dark Ages.
They're here already.
Tommy.
Since last night's declaration of martial law, soldiers are moving in to secure key areas in all major.
In response to UN presence in Minneapolis.
Be sure to join me for part 3 on the abomination of desolation and getting out of the cities. This event, and he defends working with Kanye West, who said the following:
"I sold my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal. This is came with a few toys like a Happy Meal."
Many of the people on the list for Together 2016 are also on the list for another event in September.